welcome back to the Bluebird Bookshelf, your home for wholesome and happy read-alouds for kids. My name is Kelly, and I am so excited to read with you today. Today we're reading one of my favorite stories of all time. We are reading the Butter Battle book. Now this book is really special and really interesting because it's about a silly argument that goes a little too far. You see, in this book, these people are fighting over butter. Butter. Yes, you heard me right, butter. Like what you put on bread. You see, one side of the argument believes that you should put your butter on the top of your bread. The other side believes that you should put your butter on the bottom of your bread. And they can't seem to work it out. And so they fight about it. And it's really silly. I love this book and I'm so excited to read it with you. Are you ready? Let's read. Here's the title page, The Butter Battle book by Dr. Seuss. All right, let's see what we can find out. On the last day of summer, 10 hours before fall, my grandfather took me out to the wall. It's a very big wall. Look how big it is. For a while, he stood silent. Then finally, he said, with a very sad shake of his very old head, "As you know, on this side of the wall, we are 𝗷𝗄𝐻𝐿. On the far other side of this wall live the 𝗁𝗄𝐿s. Then my grandfather said, "It's high time that you knew of the terribly horrible thing that 𝗁𝗄𝐿s do. In every 𝗁𝗄 house, in every 𝗁𝗄 town, every 𝗁𝗄 eats his bread with the butter side down." Now listen, we need to stop here for just a second. When you put butter on your bread, do you put butter on the bottom side of your bread or the top side of your bread? In my house, we eat butter on the top side. But these families, they eat it on the bottom side. They put their butter side down towards the ground. Very interesting. But we 𝗷𝗄𝐿s, as you know, when we eat breakfast or sup, spread our bread, Grandpa said, with the butter side up. And that's the right, honest way. Grandpa gritted his teeth. So you can't trust a 𝗁𝗄 who spreads bread underneath. Every 𝗁𝗄 must be watched. He has kinks in his soul. That's why, as a youth, I made watching my goal. Watching 𝗁𝗄s for the 𝗁𝗄 watching border patrol. This sign says, 𝗷𝗄𝐿s are not 𝗁𝗄s. Keep your butter side up. Yeah, that's how I eat my toast. I put the butter on top. He sounds kind of angry that they like their butter side down. I wonder what's going to happen. In those days, of course, the wall wasn't so high, and I could look any 𝗁𝗄 square in the eye. If he dared to come close, I could give him a twitch with my tough, tufted, prickly, snickberry switch. My goodness, kids, are they fighting over butter? It sounds like they are. How silly. It continues. Let's find out what happens here. For a while that worked fine. All the 𝗁𝗄s stayed away, and our country was safe. Then, one terrible day, a very rude 𝗁𝗄 by the name of Van Itch snuck up and slingshotted my snickberry switch. Look, he broke his prickly switch. With my broken off switch, with my head hung in shame, to the chief 𝗷𝗄𝐻 in great sorrow I came. But our leader just smiled. He said, "You're not to blame, and those 𝗁𝗄s will be sorry if they started this game. We'll dress you right up in a fancier suit. We'll give you a fancier slingshot to shoot." And he ordered the boys in the back room to figure how to build some sort of triple slinging jigger.
Oh my goodness, this is getting crazy. With my triple sling jigger, I sure felt much better. I marched to the wall with great vim and great vigor, right up to 𝗵𝗍𝐿 with my hand on the trigger. I'll have no more nonsense, I said with a frown, from 𝗁𝗍𝐿 who eat bread with the butter side down. 𝗵𝗍𝐿 looked quite sickly. He ran off quite quickly. This is just getting crazy. All of this fighting over butter. This is so silly. I am unhappy to say he came back the next day in a spiffy new suit with a big new machine, and he snarled as he said, looking frightfully mean, "You may fling those hard rocks with your triple sling jigger, but I also now have my hand on a trigger. My wonderful weapon, the jigger rock snatch 'em, will fling 'em right back just as quick as we catch 'em. We'll have no more nonsense, we'll take no more gup from you 𝗂𝗎𝗄 who eat bread with the butter side up." Oh my goodness, these guys are so silly. "I have failed, sir," I sobbed as I made my report to the chief 𝗂𝗎 in the headquarters fort. He just laughed. "You've done nothing at all of the sort. Our slingshots have failed. That was old-fashioned stuff. Slingshots, dear boy, are not modern enough. All we need is some newfangled kind of gun. My boys in the back room have already begun to think up a walloping whiz-zinger one. My bright boys are thinking they're on the right track. They'll think one up quick, and we'll send you right back." Okay, so a slingshot didn't work. Now we have a fancy-looking little gun that's carried by a dog. This book is so silly. They thought up a great one. They certainly did. They thought up a gun called a Kickapoo Kid, which they loaded with powerful 𝗶𝗆 powder and ants' eggs and bees' legs and dried fried clam chowder. And they carefully trained a real smart dog named Daniel to serve as our country's first gun-toting spaniel. Then Daniel, the Kickapoo Spaniel, and I marched back toward the wall with our heads held up high while everyone cheered and their cheers filled the sky. "Fight! Fight for the butter side up! Do or die!" Okay, this is getting a little crazy. This gun is stuffed with, let's see what it says. Let's go back and look. It's stuffed with 𝗶𝗆 powder. I don't even want to know what that is. Ants' eggs and bees' legs and dried fried clam chowder. Ugh, can you imagine? Well, we didn't do, and we didn't quite die, but we sure did get worsted, poor Daniel and I. 𝗵𝗍𝐿 was there too, and he said, "The old pig, the boys in my back room invented this rig called the 8-nozzled," let's see, 8 nozzles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes, it's called the 8-nozzled elephant-toted boom blitz. It shoots high explosive sour cherry stone pits and will put your silly Kickapoo kid on the fritz. Poor Daniel and I were scared out of our wits. Once more by 𝗵𝗍𝐿, I was bested and beat. Once again, I limped home from the wall in defeat. I dragged and I sagged, and my spirits were low as I thought that they ever could go, when I heard a boom-bah and a diddly-dee-dill, and our butter-up band marched up over the hill. The chief 𝗂𝗎 had sent them to meet me, along with the right side up song girls to greet me. They sang, "Oh, be faithful, believe in thy butter," and they lifted my spirits right out of the gutter. Man, they are really excited about putting their butter side up. Goodness. "My boy," smiled Chief 𝗂𝗎, "we've just voted and made you a general. You've been promoted. Your pretty new uniform is ready. Get in it. The big war is coming. You're going to begin it. And what's more, this time you are certain to win it. My boys in the back room have finally found how. Just wait till you see what they've puttered up now. In their great new machine, you'll fly over that wall and clobber those buttered down zooks once and for all. Oh no, kids, this is just getting crazy. All this over butter? Here we go. Those boys in the back room sure knew how to putter. They made me a thing called the utterly sputter. And I jumped aboard with my heart all aflutter and steered upward toward the land of the upside down butter. This machine was so modern, so frightfully new, no one knew quite exactly just what it would do. But it had several faucets that sprinkled blue goo, which somehow would sprinkle the zooks as I flew and gum up that upside down butter they chew. I was racing pell-mell when I heard a voice yell, "If you sprinkle us zooks, you'll get sprinkled as well." 𝗵𝗽𝗆 had a sputter exactly like mine. And he yelled, "My blue gooer is working just fine, and I'm here to say that if yooks can goo zooks, you'd better forget it, 'cause zooks can goo yooks." Oh my goodness. Now they both have the same machine. I flew right back home, and as you may have guessed, I was downright despondent, disturbed, and depressed. And I saw, just as soon as I stepped back on land, so were all of the girls of the Butter Up Band. The chief drum majorette, Ms. Yuki Ann Sue, said, "That was a pretty sour flight that you flew, and the chief yuckaroo has been looking for you." I raced to his office. The place was a sight. "Have no fears," said the chief. "Everything is all right. My bright backroom boys have been brighter than bright. They've thought up a gadget that's newer than new. It's filled with mysterious moo-locka-moo and can blow all those zooks clear to Salamagoo. They've invented the 𝗵𝗱𝗱 big boy boomeroo. You just run to the wall like a nice little man. Drop this bomb on the zooks just as fast as you can. I have ordered all the yooks to stay safe underground while the 𝗵𝗱𝗱 big boy boomeroo is around." My goodness, what does this do? As I raced for that wall with the bomb in my hand, I noticed that every last yook in our land was obeying our chief yuckaroo's grim command. They were all bravely marching with banners aflutter down a hole for their country and right side up butter. Now, okay, let's pause. He's holding a bomb because he doesn't agree with the way that the other people eat their butter. And these people are all marching underground to avoid the bomb because of the butter. This is crazy. It's butter, people. Come on. Let's find out what happens. That's when grandfather found me. He grabbed me. He said, "You should be down that hole and you're up here instead. But perhaps this is all for the better somehow. You will see me make history right here and right now." What's he gonna do? I wonder. He doesn't look happy. Grandpa leapt up that wall with a lopulous leap. He cleared his hoarse throat with a boppulous beep. He screamed, "Here's the end of that terrible town, full of zooks who eat bread with the butter side down." Oh no, look, there's two of them. And at that very instant, we heard a clup, clup of feet on the wall, and old 𝗵𝗱𝗱 clupped up. The boys in his back room had made him one too. In his fist was another big boy boomeroo. "I'll blow you," he yelled, "into pork and wee beans. I'll butter side up you to small smithereens." "Grandpa," I shouted, "be careful. Oh, gee, who's going to drop it? Will you or will he?" Be patient, said Grandpa. We'll see. We will see.
The end. I hope you enjoyed reading the Butter Battle book with me as much as I enjoyed reading with you. Wasn't that such a silly book about a huge argument that never should have been? If you enjoyed reading this book, I hope you'll subscribe to my channel. When you subscribe, my new videos come right to your YouTube feed. You don't have to go looking for them. It makes it really easy, and I would greatly appreciate it. So please subscribe if you like wholesome read-alouds. I'll see you next time. Bye!